Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat this at all, but Sonic fans, you gotta hear me out with this one, and that is that Sonic desperately needs a new art style. Like, it's high time he gets something new and different that wouldn't compromise like Sonic Boom did, but wouldn't be as stale as it has been with the current modern Sonic design of today. Just something completely new and different. Come on, I know you guys want this, and you want it so badly. So yeah, that's the topic of today, ladies and gentlemen, art styles. And now, art styles of video games has always been very unique to look into, especially when you look at a franchise that has been around for over 30 years. I mean, if you take a look at how Pokemon was like back in the 90s to how it is now, you see that there have been redesigns and reworks of the original artwork to how it is currently. I mean, we had a fat Pikachu once, and now Pikachu lost weight. I think you already know what I'm going with here with Sonic. And for those that are gonna be waving the little finger like this and be like, actually, modern Sonic doesn't need a new redesign like you would do on Twitter, I guess. You have to understand a couple of factors. Like I mentioned in the beginning with, Pokemon as an example, or I can even use Crash with Crash 4 as another example, or even Mario, Zelda, any other franchise out there. Redesigns and new art styles is a constant thing, as it's basically an evolution of the character over the years and a way to, dignify and sort of kind of separate the eras more or less. And with Sonic here, one of his biggest flaws is the lack of a split in era. We only know a modern era with some deviations here and there of like a dark era, a meta era, and a renaissance era, all that kind of stuff, and obviously with classic era, but art style wise, you don't really see that. I mean, yeah, you can kind of see that with like Yuji Uekawa and how he has worked in Sonic Channel art, as well as like, newcomers to the fray like Tyson Hesse and, Yui Kurasuno, but in terms of like gameplay and video games specifically with Sonic, you don't really see that. I mean, you saw that with a complete rework with Sonic Boom. Well, we all know how that happened with that game, but in terms of just modern Sonic specifically, you don't really see like that evolution shift like you normally would with like Metroid or with Zelda or with Mario. Like if you look at Mario 64, Sunshine, Galaxy, and Odyssey, they're four completely different art designs and art directions in terms of the video game presentation, and Sonic doesn't really have that when you think about it. Okay, well, let me backtrack on that sentiment a little bit, because you do see that with Sonic Heroes and the adventure games, and obviously Sonic 06, and from Unleashed onwards is where I would rather make that argument of what I'm saying right now. But my point being is that Sonic needs like a new modern art style approach that would greatly benefit him moving forward, especially now that there's a lot of Sonic content nowadays. It doesn't hurt not to experiment with a new art style and see how it goes. I mean, if you take a look at the way like many people have modded Sonic Frontiers and how you have the Kurasuno art style and the Uekawa art style, and I think also the Tyson Hesse art style implemented in 3D, it doesn't hurt to try that out for a new Sonic game, or for a new Sonic spin-off for that matter. Now, I would argue for 2D on that front because it's easier to experiment, but if you want to go full 3D on that, try that out. Like, we see it implemented in mods. You can definitely utilize that to like an official degree, and it would greatly benefit Sonic. I kid you not. I would rather play a Sonic game with a Kurasuno art style any day of the week than having the Sonic Frontiers and Forces art style and art direction, because at the end of the day, it gets so stale and boring at a certain point. And don't get me wrong, I love Frontiers, but I don't think I'm ever touching that game for another good month or two. And because of that, the new art style approach is the way to go, and we have seen that. Another example, Crash 4, a revival to the franchise and something that is currently being utilized with Crash Rumble. And with that art style, it's demonstrating a new Crash, something that a lot of people are like really acknowledging and are also, in love with. Like they love the new Crash 4 design. They love how Toy for Bob's implemented that art design in gameplay and in terms of just the media in general. And with Sonic, it wouldn't hurt not to try that out. Like, I kid you not, with Superstars, and this is a perfect example within Sonic, with Superstars, you are seeing that. Naruto Oshima is back, and he's utilizing his talents in a modern context to implement a classic 2D new adventure into the fray. And judging by the way that the art design and the art, direction is going, it looks so cool. It looks so unique for a Sonic game and for a platformer, like, period. And so if you do that with modern Sonic, if you implement the Sonic Channel artist, or if you have Tyson Hesse, although, we could make the case that he's better off with sort of the multimedia stuff, like the movies, and of course, you know, maybe an animation. You know, I'm down to watch a Sonic Mania style animation done by him, all on Netflix. You know, that greatly would be amazing. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Sonic Prime, but I really want a 2D Sonic, you know, cartoon done by Tyson Hesse, and I guess the people involved with IDW. But tangent aside, modern Sonic just needs a new art style, period. Like, it would hurt not to experiment, and it would just hinder Sonic's, you know, ability to transition into a new era of platformers and just a new era for franchises that has been around for more than 30 years. And specifically with Frontiers making the charge for a new era of Sonic in terms of story and gameplay direction, it wouldn't hurt not to try that out. I mean, Sonic has been known for experimenting stuff as is already, so there's no point in making a judgment call now and saying, no, we gotta keep it consistent. Of course, you should keep it consistent, but in terms of art style, it doesn't hurt to evolve a little bit, you know, to make some changes here and there. Like, you know, make the quills in between, not too long, not too short. Have Sonic be a little bit taller. Obviously, you gotta keep the shoes, although I would argue for this, you know, art style approach, if you were to redesign Sonic a little bit, you know, while not compromising too much. Have the shoes be like the Like That shoes from Sonic Adventure. I'm not saying I don't like the buckles that has been around for the past 32 years. It's just with modern Sonic, if you give him like the modern shoe format like the movie Sonic has, it would make him a whole lot better. It would just be like that next step in the evolution, you know? If you give him like that style of running shoes and obviously like design it in a way that looks like the original shoe, like of course like the Like That shoes in Sonic Adventure, it would be incredibly amazing. Like, that would be such peak character design for Sonic as is, and you're not compromising much of what he already is in terms of like his modern counterpart. But of course, that's just my personal preferences and how you would rework Sonic and keeping the design consistent. But bottom line, in terms of art style, it's high time. Sonic needs one. Throw Yuji Uekawa and Yui Kurasuno into the fray in game development and have their art style be translated fully into gameplay proper and just let it run, you know? Like, if you're that worried about how the reception is gonna be, then go for it on a 2D style, you know? Again, going back to Superstars, you see how well translated Naoto Oshima's, you know, character design is from a gameplay perspective. You can definitely do that with modern Sonic and the Sonic Channel artists. So, you know, there's no really excuses there in terms of that, and it would just be a fun experience. Like, can you imagine a full-on modern style Yuji Uekawa art design for a 2D modern Sonic game? Well, not just a 2D modern Sonic game like the Advanced Trilogy or the Rush Trilogy, but in the art style of Yuji Uekawa, like fully translated everything, you know, platformer, the characters, the body proportions, the level design, everything done in the style of Yuji Uekawa, or even like Yui Kurasuno. That would be amazing. That would be a 10 out of 10 2D Sonic experience. No, that would be a 10 out of 10 Sonic experience in my personal opinion. But that's all I really have to say in terms of art design. I might come back to this topic in the future in regards to Sonic stuff, maybe in talks about like 3D Sonic or 2D Sonic and all that. But what I really want to talk about is that at the end of the day, Sonic artists are truly incredible. Like, we can definitely have this as the underlying message of this video. Whether or not you want a new art style for Sonic, you can totally comment down below. We do have a comment section for a reason, and I like making these videos because of what I get to read in the comments, so definitely go do that. But bottom line, to kind of end things off here, Sonic artists are truly amazing. Whether you have worked in the past with like official, you know, Sonic related media like Sonic Prime, so obviously Sonic, you know, the Sonic movies, with, you know, IDW comics specifically, be it the cover or the panels themselves, Sonic artists truly are like the main drive of modern Sonic over the past, I would say, 10 years or so. Like, I wouldn't be surprised that since 2013 with, you know, Sonic Lost World onwards, the level of creativity of presenting Sonic in an art style approach is truly incredible. And I'm not just talking about like official products, but also the indie stuff and like the fan stuff as well. Like, you look at Sonic Utopia, Sonic Omens, I don't care what you have to say about that, or like Sonic Triple Trouble the remake, or even Sonic and the Fallen Star, which I would argue is probably the reason why I made this video in the first place. These are whole incredible art styles for Sonic, and so at the end of the day, Sonic is feasting in terms of the different interpretations and sort of, art directions that have been presented to him, be it unofficial and of course official. But that's all I gotta say. Peace out, you guys. The comment section is all yours for this one, because I know how Sonic fans are in terms of, deviating from the script of we love Sonic no matter what he does. Look, I'm not critiquing here. I just want something new for Sonic, and I think everybody is inclined to agree with that too. I hope.